Hello all, in the previous video we have discussed about the algorithms. In this particular video we will see what are flowcharts. Flowcharts are the graphical or pictorial representation of an algorithm. If you take an algorithm, there are some step-by-step procedure, right? So those steps we need to represent diagrammatically. So by using some symbols. Those are called flowcharts. So what and all different symbols that we can use as part of flowchart. On the screen we have listed down some symbols. First one is oval, that is to indicate start and stop of an algorithm. Another one is parallelogram. Parallelogram can be used to take the input and display the output. So for input and output we will use parallelogram in the flowcharts. Third symbol is rectangle. Rectangle can be used for process or calculation. And fourth one is diamond or rhombus. This is for decision making or some conditional code. For conditional coding or decision making, we can use diamond symbol in the flowchart. And the arrow symbols. So arrow symbols typically used for flow control. So after this box, this action can be done. So by connecting these two symbols, we are using one arrow mark. This is basically to indicate the flow of control in between the two actions. And the fifth one is circle, and the seventh one is off-pace connector. You can call it as reverse pentagon or something. So these are called on-pace connector and off-pace connector. So what do you mean by on-pace connector? So if you on a single pace, if you divide a single pace into two parts, so in the right side you have started one flowchart for an algorithm, but it continued in the next slide, next half as well. So in order to connect these two are a single entity, in order to tell this particular whole flowchart as a single diagram, we need to use some connector. So on pace, if you want to indicate on pace connector, we will use circle. So off pace connector is a little bit different. If you are using flowcharts in two different pages, so if you want to connect these two flowcharts at a single point, we can use off-pace connector, that is called reverse pentagon, or you simply no need to call that particular symbol. These are rarely used in the flowcharts, but if the algorithm is big, you can use these connectors, on-pace connector and off-pace connector, if the algorithm is too big. So in order to represent that particular algorithm in flowchart, if one page is not enough, then we can use these two connectors in that case. That is the meaning of on-page connector and off-page connector. These are the symbols that we can use as part of flowcharts, and we will see some examples of flowchart. So as you already know, a flowchart is a pictorial representation of algorithm, right? So previously as part of algorithm, we have seen some examples like find the sum of two numbers or average of three numbers. Like that we have seen some examples as part of algorithms, right? So we will see some examples of flowcharts based on those examples. So first one is find the sum of two numbers. We have to start the algorithm, and then we have to read a comma b, that is input. For input and output we are using parallelogram, as we already seen in our previous slide. For input and output we can use parallelogram, and for calculation we are using rectangle. So sum is equal to a plus b, and then printing also we are using parallelogram, print sum, and then we are stopping that particular algorithm. So algorithm is stopped here. So a flowchart is a pictorial representation of algorithm. That definition is satisfied here. Okay, and the different symbols are used. For input we are using parallelogram, for calculation we are using rectangle, and for starting and stopping we are using vowel symbols. And we will see another example called average of three numbers. First we will start, and then we will take three inputs, so that we can use a parallelogram as part of input taking, and then we are calculating sum, that is calculation. Sum is a calculation, right? So we have used a rectangle over here, and then average is also calculation, that is the reason we have used rectangle, and then we are printing average is output. For input and output we will use parallelogram only, and then we are stopping the algorithm. For developing a flowchart to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, this is the algorithm. First we need to start. So we have used vowel over here, and then we are inputting C, that is reading C value, that is Celsius. For reading we will use parallelogram, and then we have to make some calculation based on the formula, that is 9 by 5 into C plus 32. That is a calculation, right? For calculation we will use rectangle, and then we are printing that result, that Fahrenheit result, to the output screen. For printing that is the output, right? For printing we will use again parallelogram, and then we are stopping the algorithm. That's it for today. We have seen what is flowchart, and what are the symbols we have used in the flowchart, and then we have seen 3 basic examples in the flowchart. I hope this session is useful. I will see you in my next lecture.